Then we got this no-holds-barred hardcore match between Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian versus the Best Friends, Penelope Ford and Orange Cassidy were at ringside in the respective corners. It was so much fun.
Loved it, mate. And this was like, when you said earlier that this was all Tony Khan's doing, essentially just sort of booked this all, off the top of his head very, very quickly. This has been a very well told little feud that has built over the last couple of weeks through their limited roster. It's not a top feud, but it has got these guys on TV. And actually, it's really gotten these guys over as characters. And the genius of all of this is that not only have you featured Jimmy Havoc more, you featured Kip Sabian more, you've effectively created a new team out of all of this and built this sort of feud with the Best Friends. In that, you have created new top challengers in Best Friends, who at the same time were having a little mini feud with Kenny Omega a couple of weeks ago. So they've already planted that seed. So when everything comes back together, those two teams can finally confront each other again, and we can start a feud towards the tag straps. Absolutely brilliant bit of simple storytelling.
There's Death Triangle in there as well. I said it last week. Like, when you've got limited resources and you're faced with a lot of obstacles, you just go back to basics and tell a very simple, fundamental story. And those things are generally copy and paste, right? And that's what they've done. They've just focused on telling very basic stories with a limited number of people. And, if you're just going to do that for 3 months, it's very, very effective. You said they're not top guys, these people. And I agree. This is mid-card. This is a fantastic mid-card. But have you seen the ratings?
No.
The last 2 weeks, these segments with these 6 people in, highest rated stuff on Dynamite.
Now, that is interesting.
Isn't it?
Because one of the things that has been said about AEW and Tony Khan is he's a stats man.
Sorry, women. You don't draw.
You don't draw. You don't get on TV, which means you can't draw. He loves stats. And if he can see, well, these guys are popping ratings, that's going to get them even more TV. This could mean more Jimmy on TV. And I'm all for more Jimmy on TV.
I still feel like the Jimmy Havoc, the essence of the brilliance of what he can deliver hasn't still come out. No. I haven't watched his MLW stuff, but the stuff I was reading sounds like he was close to that level. But this was the first match in AEW. Well, I guess the 3-way was really fun as well. But there was something about the way he moved here. It was just this kind of like this sadist mentality that I really got from him. And just, I feel like hardcore wrestling has gone on a bad rep in the last, since CZW One Night Stand. That's when it peaked and everyone was like, it's not for me anymore. CZW kind of jumped the shark, I guess. This is what hardcore wrestling can be in 2020. I had so much fun with it. I've never seen people get dropped on chairs at those angles before.
Yeah, I thought this was if I was to give a slight nitpick to this, and this is the slightest of nitpicks, but it did make me go like it was when they were tagging. It was when Havoc and Sabian were just tagging in and out. And Jericho even said, look at that. Even when there's no DQ, they're still tagging. And I was like, yeah, but why? Why are they tagging? Because it's no DQ, mate. What's the ref going to do if you don't obey the tag rules? And then, after they did 2 tags, they never did any other tags throughout the match. So why did you do those 2?
Yeah, you're right there.
Little details. But moving that aside, I then saw Jimmy Havoc throw people onto lots of chairs, and those chairs were at horrible angles, and it made me go, ooh, it made me go, ah, and it made me feel like I was a teenager in the year 2000 watching hardcore matches, and I loved it.
Yeah, and especially we're so desensitized. So to make me go, oh, that's a really nice sensation that I don't experience a lot these days. It's thrilling. But at the end...
do you remember in NXT when they did it was the Adam Cole, Aleister Black hardcore, I think they had a hardcore match or something, but they did the sort of AA move onto an upturned chair, and Adam Cole just sort of landed on top of the chair.
Yeah, stuff like that. Although these ones I enjoyed more because they seemed a bit safer because there was a bit more of a. I don't know. I don't know anything. But the Penelope Ford and Orange Cassidy got involved, a bit of distractions, and Chuck Taylor got Havoc, ran across the ring, and hit a pile driver on a load of chairs. A fitting demise to the evil, chair-hungry goth.
Exactly. And, Jericho was putting over, these guys have got to be top contenders now. And they have planted those seeds, as I said earlier, of the sort of animosity and sort of, hatred between Kenny Omega and the best friends, particularly Trent. They had that excellent match that nearly went to the draw. They had the comedy tag match with Kenny and Michael Nakazawa, the DDT Pro match that they had. And they have just been planting all of these things along. So next week, when we get the return of the tag champs, well, at least Kenny Omega's in action because he's teaming with Matt Hardy. Maybe this is where we're going to see the start. Well, I mean, you can't even say it's the start. The next step of this tag feud between Hangman and Page and the best friends.
Hangman and Page.
Did I say Hangman and Page?
Yeah, I like that team.
I love Hangman and Page.